In this video, I want to break down the 4 unlikely signs that you're about to have a breakthrough. If you feel like 2025 was the year of unmet expectations, the year of disappointment, the year of heartbreak, the year of loss, then you are perfectly positioned for 2026. Every time you ask for your life to be leveled up in a major way, maybe you want an increase in income, or you want more peace in your life, or you're really trying to get your health in check, or you're really trying to call in that relationship, it means that who you currently are, the version of you that's getting the results that you want, that person is not the version that you need to be in order to achieve that new reality. So when you ask, when you put it out into the universe, oh, I want this thing in my life and I don't have it, especially if it's become a non-negotiable for you, especially if you've decided this is something that I will have in this lifetime and I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go and create it. I'm going to manifest it into my reality. That identity shift means that your world will crumble. The things that you feel familiar with that are keeping you safe but are not actually leading you toward your goals, towards the things that you want to achieve, those things will be taken from you. Those things will be challenged. Those things won't be satisfactory in the same way. If you want to experience a breakthrough, most likely you're gonna have to experience a breakdown. If you want to shift into a new reality faster, it means that your life is going to feel unbearable. If you're asking for more, you have to be willing to hold more. You have to be able to be more responsible, to be more disciplined, more devoted. It's like, if life is the boss and you're the employee, how are you going to prove to that boss that you want to raise? By doing the bare minimum, by leaving early. No, if you're a manager and you want to be the director, you want to skip levels and you want to be an executive, you want to be the CEO, then do CEO level activities. Even if you're a receptionist, but you're thinking like a CEO, you're moving like a CEO, there's no way that you're going to stay the receptionist. Things will start to shift. People around you will start to notice. They'll start to respect you in new ways. But if you act like a receptionist, you'll stay a receptionist. And if you believe that life works for you, life is happening for you, not to you, then you know that every painful moment can be utilized, that energy can be harvested for your good. You can learn to be more persevering, have more character, because character is never built in comfort. Often we take pain as the sign that something is wrong, but oftentimes it's not. It's the thing that expands us to be able to handle what's meant for us. So let's get into the 4 signs. The first sign is that things that used to satisfy you no longer satisfy you. And there might be a little bit of guilt, like, why am I not grateful for this thing that I wanted? If you start to feel like something isn't working in the same way and it's calling you to more, that pain, that feeling of scarcity, that feeling of lack may be the thing that is pushing you to go and get the thing that you want. Desire is holy. We're supposed to feel that desire. What gets tricky is when we let it consume us and all we can see is what we don't have. All we can see are our problems instead of all the problems that we solved. And that's just, our negative bias. That's literally biology. But we have the opportunity to overcome it. So when life starts to feel unsatisfying, like it's not enough, that's not a bad thing. It's just signifying to you, maybe there's more. Maybe you know that there's untapped potential within you that you're really not utilizing in the way that you could. For the first time in history, we have space and time to self-reflect, to think about why we're doing the things that we're doing. Life is very, very convenient for us, and we get so used to the convenience that any ounce of inconvenience feels like something's wrong. I should be feeling pleasure at all times, but that's not the case. Our pains, our triggers, the things that are very unpleasant to feel, we need them to catalyze us toward taking action toward the person that we're meant to become, which is a more expansive version. And expanding, moving, getting bigger, it's not a pleasant experience. Number 2 is you start to lose friendships that you literally thought you would always have. We do have to thank them for walking you up to this point in life, wish them well, and move on. And it's not as easy as that. Oh my God, I have cried so many tears over so many different people. I've angry journaled about it. You really want to feel the full breadth of human emotion and be okay with it. If you're going through a breakup, if you're going through a heartbreak, if you're losing connection with family members or friendships that you thought would always be in your life, nothing in this life is permanent, including relationships. And that's why it's so important to be present in the moment, in the good times and in the times that feel more difficult to navigate, because there are lessons that we'll miss if we numb out of our life when they're difficult. And there are blessings that we will miss if we're not fully present and acknowledging that We live in a world that isn't permanent. So if you're losing relationships all of a sudden, all at the same time, it might be a sign that your identity is breaking down, your life is breaking down so that you can break through. Number 3 is that you're drawn to sobriety of some kind. This can be alcohol, this can be cannabis, but just having that awareness of what am I using to numb myself to my reality? If you're drawn to some sort of sobriety or some sort of sacrifice, like I'm not going to do this anymore. Sometimes it could be sugar. Sometimes it can be exercise. Sometimes it can be a certain kind of spirituality, right? If you need to shift into a different kind of spirituality, it's really a new mindfulness of the types of things you're using to escape your reality. If you want to live a life where you love being alive, you love your life, then that version of you doesn't need something to escape because they like being in their life. So if you're drawn to cutting out things that allow you to escape, it may be because that new identity is calling to you. And number 4 is you enter a season of isolation. You enter a season of darkness. You enter a season where you really have no idea what the future holds. You're in this liminal space where you're not who you were anymore, and you're not who you are, and you don't have the friends that you used to have, but you don't have the friends that you're going to have. You don't do the habits you used to do, but you're not super solid on the habits that you're trying to cultivate to be in this new version of you. This in-between phase is very, very difficult to be in. That for me was all of 2025. I no longer was anyone's priority. I had to become my own priority. And it really was this gift, even though I felt so lonely so many days and the days felt so dark and so heavy sometimes. And it's like, I wish that I had somebody who I could rely on. And there were moments of peace, right? It wasn't like darkness 24/7, but overall it was a more difficult, dark, cocoon-like time. But I knew this is a cocoon, right? This isn't me in the pit of hell. This is a transformational period where if I accept this process, I know the butterfly is coming. I know that I'm sprouting wings. I know that I'm becoming someone of character, because every day when I'm lonely, but I get up and I do the work that I know I need to do that day, I'm gaining self-respect. Every day when I wake up and I choose not to scroll on my phone, and instead I get up and I do some breath work, and I dance and I go on a little walk because I know that I'm mastering the self, I'm gaining more self-respect. And every day that I do those things, I do sit in my bed and scroll to 11. I do focus on other people. I do compare myself, but then I forgive myself because I know that I'm a human being, and I don't shame myself for not getting it perfect. When I don't shame myself for being in process, when I don't shame myself for, instead of being this huge tree, just being a little sprout, when I actually celebrate, look at you grow. Look how you're trying. Look how you're experiencing this kind of difficulty because you're willing to say, I don't know how to do this yet, but I'm trying. I want to be better. I want to grow. I want to be this person who has this different life and these different results. And I know that that means I have to become different, and I'm willing to try, and I'm willing to be bad at things. That is also gaining self-respect. And that season where you don't have so many voices telling you, you should do this, you should do that, right? You get away, you listen to yourself, you hear the divine, you hear what your call is, what your mission is, what you're supposed to do, so that you can re-enter the world and not be shaken by what you're supposed to do in this life and how you're supposed to do it. It's such a gift. And it usually means you're about to be new. You're able to handle more. You're able to handle more responsibility. You're ready. So this process of a dissatisfying life where you lose people and you can't do any of your favorite numbing activities anymore. You just have to sit in boredom and uncomfortability and shame and guilt and work through all these feelings, and you're alone and it's isolating and it's dark. It can feel like this really punishing time of life, but it's not punishment. It is literally Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off. It's preparing you to be able to handle what's coming, because every success comes with suffering. I know that people want to say that you don't have to suffer and you don't have to work hard. And I actually get that perspective, and I know what people are saying when they say that. But I also think sometimes because we live in such an easy and convenient and pleasure-focused culture where not a lot of things are actually that hard, when we have to do anything hard, we want someone to say it shouldn't have to be hard. But anything actually worth doing is going to be full of effort, and it feels hard because you're usually not used to putting that much effort towards it, right? If you're trying to completely shift your health, your physical health around, you're going to be doing things that you don't want to do, and it's going to feel like hard work. There is sacrifice involved. There are moments where it feels like it is suffering. And that's what gaining competence is. It's being able to face your incompetence and say, the mastery that I will have at some point is worth the suffering that I'm going through right now because I don't want this life anymore. When you decide I don't want this life anymore, literally the world will start to rearrange itself in order for you to get your goals. And sometimes that means losing. It means you're going through a season of loss and darkness. But you get to be the one who decides that that darkness actually leads you to light. Transforming your life is no easy task, and walking through it takes an immense amount of courage. And if you want someone to help you, to guide you through whatever transition you're going through, you can apply to work with me one-on-one. And if you're a woman who is rebuilding your life, I'm starting a membership. If you want to join the waitlist for that, the link is in the description. No matter what 2025 was like for you, I hope that you meet a version of yourself in 2026 that you respect, that you care for. And I hope you continue to build the life that you're obsessed with by becoming the kind of person who has it. All right, that's all I have to say for today. I hope you have an amazing week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.